Oh yeah, lads, that's the crack. A bit of a switch up there. A few talking points. I'm going to try these episodes a little bit going forward. Um, Maybe once a week, maybe a couple of times a week. We'll see. I'm undecided really. If we're in the chat, say hello. How are you? Oh, let's. Is that even popping up there? Should be popping up. Give me 1 second. Make sure that's at the top. Oh, there it is. There you are. Bit smaller, isn't it? Not like you pan of, is it? It's a crack bit. Right. Right, so yeah, so I'm gonna do that. We'll set up topics. People can message me on Twitter if they want me to talk about topics, and I can set it up here on this side, and see how we get on going forward. I mean, just uh, a few people want to have their say, and they want to see what's going on, and there's a lot of lads out there, and they're all creating some epic talking points. Me personally, with the way it's set up, I don't use StreamYard and stuff like that. I use my own setup here through OBS and things like that. So it's kind of well, I'll be setting it up in a different way going forward in Streamlabs as well as OBS. Because now you can add in extra cameras and stuff like that, and it just happens naturally. So it's great. And I've got the Streamlabs Prime as well, so I might start using that for the football side of things and keeping OBS for the gaming side of things. We'll see. We'll see. But anyway, lads, can we talk about first Liverpool-Chelsea game? It, it did kind of turn out to be El Crapico in the end. Pan off a worry, bud. Yeah. Anyway. It did turn out to be kind of El Crafico, if you want to call it that, in the end. And yeah, dude, I don't really know what to say going forward. Like, the first bad decision for me was playing Elliot on the left hand side. I didn't see the point. I didn't see what value he brought to the team being out there. He had a great game midweek. Sorry, yeah, against Wolves. But I don't see the point. I don't see the point in putting him out there. I just that kind of has to go down to like Klopp being forced into doing it maybe or something. I probably even would have preferred Curtis Jones there, as much as I had the ball he could have been. I was glad to see Naby getting a start. I was glad to see him, him going with Bajcetic and Thiago and stuff like that. But Naby didn't really do much this game either. Thiago had an average game because of the people around him, really, but the stuff that he did do was okay. Bajcetic looked well to me, in the way he plays, and we'll come to him in a while as well. But for me, it's just Chelsea. They had their chances early on in the game, and we could have really polished them off if we had a chance to go anyway. But who's that, Tony? What's he on by? Arsenal will win the league. They have to play. Yeah, Arsenal win the league. They have to play City twice. They lose at the Etihad and draw at the Emirates. Yeah, that kind of, so. Well, I think Arsenal should want to win the league now. They're strong. They've got momentum. City have got blips. I expected us to be where City are. To be honest with you, in the league at the moment, I expected us to. I expected us to finish third or fourth because of the hangover from last season. I don't understand where everybody thought we were going to walk on and win the league this year unless we got recruitment. We didn't get recruitment and we didn't get backed. So when I say, well, do you know, Tony, I don't even want outside top six. It's either for me finish 9th or 10th where we are, or finish top four. I don't want anything to do with those other the other European cups or competitions. I don't want any shitty conference league. I don't want any of that kind of stuff. I still think we're exactly at the halfway point in the season. We were worse off points wise. I could be told because I mean no other team in history has played 63 games. No team in history at all has played 63 games in the English league ever in a season. No, like every single possible game right up until every single final kick-off right up to it. And like when we call it, like there's a mental fatigue there as well, and the mental fatigue really is down to yeah, long season, but the mental fatigue, which also leads to the build up in physical fatigue as well. That's down to losing out to City season after season by a point after getting like 90 something points in any league that you would have won. Um, you would have won the league. Plus, you have a team that's half age, at this stage as well. So that's even a factor in there. You're talking about Jordan Henderson, James Milner, who's massive career. Look how good he's still playing right now and right back. You know, for me, even if he doesn't stay on at the end of the season, which is not looking less likely because I'd rather him come back in a coaching role. Would I like to see him to go to a place like Leeds to finish off his career? I think Leeds would benefit from him in the dressing room tenfold, and I think we'd benefit from him coming back to the thing. Strengthen. Oh no, that's down to this is what I'm getting to the point now with this in a minute. So we'll go into it for a second, and we'll come back to this in a second. You wouldn't take him this year? Oh, not next year though. Ah, he's old, but I mean, he can come in the player coaching role, for Leeds for a couple of seasons, come back to Liverpool as one of the staff. I don't know. He's just joins his hometown club, so I don't know. Maybe he wants to do it. But look, we want to the thing anyway for Nunez. I think that's the start. I don't know what you think yourselves. I think he should on the weekend. I think it's a no-brainer. I think that whether he starts through the middle or out the left is there to be seen. I know he's dangerous from the left and the whole lot, but I would just like to see their defense split in the middle. And I'd like to see, look, I'd like to see Nunez get a run up the middle. I'd like to see Gakpo playing his natural spot out in the left midfield or left attacking midfield, left wing or left attacking midfield role. Yeah, massive. So but even in that, right? So he's an absolute Nunez. He's an absolute nuisance, right? So, right, so if he's making the runs that he's making every single game. And I'm talking like he's causing that defense hassle every 180 seconds. In the way his stats have gone so far this season, so he's on the ball. Unless we're getting really pinned back and it's the quiet period where we don't do anything for 7 to 8 minutes, and then we gradually make our way back into it for 7 or 8 minutes, and then dominant for the next 15. The way it's kind of gone this season, rather than more seasons where we were dominant throughout. Gakpo on the left needs to happen. I think him and Nunez are going to interchange no matter where they start anyway. And I think maybe Klopp puts him up through the middle, Gakpo wise, and Nunez on the left because he wants to throw one over on the opposition. So, Gakpo might start, but he might end up out on the left. I don't know. I don't kind of want to see Elliott starting this game. I'd still like to see Naby starting. It's more like with Henderson not starting the last couple of games that he might start, but we'll get to that in a while. Yeah. So for me, Nunez to start. I don't know what you think. I think so. 110%. Just you can't leave it to chance. You can't. We were missing them against Brighton and pretty much Wolves when he came on, but yeah, we're missing against that. He was probably one of the brightest people on the pitch when he came on. What's happening, Tom? He's probably one of the brightest people on the pitch when he came on. To be honest with you, he just causes hassle every time he's on the pitch. And I think with him, Gakpo and Salah running at you, although we'll get to other points in a minute, you know what I mean? That's the ideal starting lineup right there. But look, we'll get to it anyway. So look, we're just going to go with we've got it at the point. It's Darwin Nunez to start. I think yay. I don't know what you say. I know Tony says yeah. Panna, what you think yourself? It's all well and good turning around and starting the young fellas. I don't want to see young fellas, man. We're barely in any competitions this season. I don't want to be hearing any crap about giving young fellas time, except for maybe Doak, who deserves a bit of game time from the way he plays. He does, yeah. So he'll rotate left, right, and he'll rotate in and out with Nunez and Gaff. We're getting to the point now where there's only we're about 5 week, about 5 weeks out from seeing, Luis Diaz and Jota probably being brought back into the team. What's happening, John? How's it going? Are you alright? Oh, if I play If he's going for the young fellas and he's going to try 4-2-3-1, I would bang Nunez up front. I don't want to see Ox on the left. You see, Ox is probably going to get a start through the middle in a number 10 role than you would, or the left, before Carvalho. And I think Carvalho needs game time. But anyway, let's get to the next topic, which is... Right. So, Klopp's midfield headache. Who's your midfield, lads? That's something I'm going to wait and say. Who's the midfield? That's... Right. For me, I won't even say my midfield first. I'll leave you do it. Let's go. So evening depressing watching the game to that game today. Oh yeah, I'm going to get to that in a while with the lads in that play today. Like the passion that was on that pitch today for Arsenal and United. I'll get to that in a while, and I'll give my main points on that. But at the moment, Dave? How was it going? Are you alright? Didn't you care? Looking at Arsenal's midfield today reminded me of how we were the last 2 years. But I mean, have you not watched the documentary, right? With Arsenal, I watched it. I watched it from last season's one, and I was seeing what Arteta was doing there, and it was just like, do you know, in some ways he's mad as a bag of spanners, but in other ways he's really trying to be Liverpool, because all he was doing was talking about Liverpool and what Liverpool do and how City do this from the outside in. So that's on his basis, is he's trying to make a hybrid of Liverpool and City and how they play Liverpool type midfield with young youthful legs, and that's what he's got the advantage right now. So like if I have to go on anything, let's kind of do a rundown of, let's say we take the scenario out of what's happening to Liverpool last season, and we look at what's going to happen. The scenario of what happened to Liverpool last season, and we look at who's improved and who hasn't improved throughout this season. So let me see here now. Bajcetic, that's the start. No, for me, Bajcetic is, as young as he is, I think the only one game that we'll get to him in a sec. Actually, we'll come on to Bajcetic in a second. But just his midfield header, we go for Klopp, right? So Curtis Jones could start in a game like this. James Milner could start in a game like this. Do I want to see that? No, because I want to win a competition. Do I want to see going up against a Brighton team that just pretty much demolished us a week or so ago? No. I want to see our best 11 go out there and try, to be honest with you. And if it's not our best 11, at least a hybrid of it. You know, if you're going to rest Salah for this game, why, you know, there's one more game and then there's another break or something for a couple of weeks. Yeah, I see what you're saying, John. I do. He's Partey was great today, Tone. So I want to see Bajcetic start in whatever the hell game we're playing for the rest of the season, and I'd like to see Fabinho be his backup for this season. And that doesn't mean that Fabinho is finished. It's just that because I'll have to keep saying it over, and it'll sound like a broken record, because of last season. The lads haven't got the legs. Fabinho is playing at 65% of his potential. Even Thiago, when he's at his best this season, he's playing at about 85% of what he can play. Salah is just getting out. Whatever's happening with Salah, teams have set up in such a way that they're double marking him all the time, and then they just know when to close the space. So Salah needs to be played in either a different position, or he needs to come a bit closer to Nunez and then create a space or an underlapping space. Right. So I don't understand how you don't think last season's not a hangover. I don't get that. I can't understand how anybody doesn't think last season's a hangover. A few seasons ago, it was injuries that destroyed us. We losing. Like, look at us now. We've a better points tally now than we did in that season after we won the league. and we lost Van Dijk, and we lost Thiago after joining us, and we lost, Jesus, Joe Gomez was gone for most of that season as well. And then Matip went, and then we had to play Fabinho and Henderson in that role, and then the two of them went, and then we had an untested midfield, and then we had the two lads in the back, Reece and what you call it, you know, we're based in it because no, that wasn't a hangover, Tony. That was complete injury. That was not a hangover. This season is a hangover because I mean the season ended the second week of June and started again on the 7th of July. No, like all the other teams have finished since, you know, May, and weren't back until the third week of fucking July or something like that, you know. Besides, I think Leeds were early starters. City didn't even get back until Jesus. They didn't even get back until the last week of July, first week of August this season. So they, you know, because they've probably balanced out. Well, that's why they're probably so high up in the thing, and they're still dropping off a bit. So this is what I'm saying. Like City have dropped off a bit, and their hangover is about 3 weeks less rest or 3 weeks more rest than us. But even in saying that, we should have. That's the only excuse for the team that we have now. But I have no excuse for FSG not backing Klopp when he needs to. Arthur Melo on loan is not backing. Darwin Nunez is a good boy. I think he'll be a worldie, to be honest with you. But not filling that midfield when we knew what the issues were. I mean, it was naive for anybody to think that midfield was going to have the legs to be able to continue this season, especially when you had James Milner still in there, that, you know, who's at his age. We can see that he can do a good 65 minutes now at, you know, he can do the first half at his personal peak. He can do the first 10 minutes of the second half at 60%, and all of a sudden there's a massive drop off where he's gone down to 10-15% of himself. Let me go back now over these a second. We get to the notifications. Would you play? We go to pan off here a second. But Jetta has to start now. Yeah. That exactly he was. And me Jones is done, needs to go on. Yeah, I do look. Good to have on the bench as a backup, but if Ox is going, Naby is going, you know, I don't think Klopp is going to get rid of too many midfielders. If anything, you might see one of the main guys going, you know, as in either one of Fabinho or Henderson. The thing I shouldn't see it happening because, you know, Fabinho knows the system, and I think he just needs more rest. I think he needs more rotation with Bajcetic. I think Bajcetic is fresh. He looks like a breath of fresh air in there. I think he needs to be put in there. Salah needs to be dropped. I do think Salah needs to be dropped or play through the middle. I think so. I don't want to play Cody out on the right either, you know, or Nunez out on the right. If anything, play Nunez out on the left, rotate with Salah, or play for, like, if you do 4-2-3-1, I would probably go Nunez, Gakpo, and Elliot or Doak on that right, and play Salah through the middle. Just leave him off the defenders and just leave him give a free roll anywhere he wants to go, and then probably by Bajcetic and Thiago if it was going that way. Because like Brighton opened up that midfield here the other day, and I didn't like the state of that. I talked about that. The money needs to come in, it does, Ton. And yeah, would you play more at the weekend? I wouldn't either. More needs to be dropped. I agree, John. Yeah. I already answered that, didn't I? That isn't it. More needs to be on the bench for a bit and play. Yeah, like Elliot or Doak, you know, give him time. This is the cup. If Doak is going to get more game time, it's going to be this competition. And with the Champions League and stuff coming up, I want a fresh more. You know, we're probably going to have Jota back by then. You know, we won't have Diaz, unfortunately, but we've got Nunez there that can do a similar job to Diaz out on the left hand side if he needs to play, or Gakpo. You know, it's just like Gakpo is more of a stride player. Well, Nunez is as well, but he's got speed on the stride. You know, you said yourself the season after you won the league that there was a hangover from winning the league. No, it was injuries, and I don't think anybody's had I think only United had a worse drop off from winning the league. When they had it. because they went out. And Chelsea actually had a bad season as well. But it wasn't due to, we were just injury destroyed. This season we're pretty much kind of similar in the midfield or in the up front position, but then we've already covered that with Nunez and Gakpo, so that's not an excuse for the boys up front. They should be scoring goals. The only problem is that midfield is tired, man, and there's no protection for that defense. Which is why you should have been covered. So it's a mixture of complete mental fatigueness and tiredness from last season mixed with no cover. Did we maybe do too much pre-season? Yeah. I think Klopp likes a good pre-season, and I'm putting 20% of the blame of everything on the management choices, because maybe they thought the lads were okay coming back, even the break for the World Cup and stuff. There should have been rest there for Salah had rest, but they were still playing out in Dubai and stuff. I just think their rotation is healthy. I think Salah going through the centre would work. Nunez left, Elliot right, yeah. Maybe. The pace and skill to play right. That's what he played for Blackburn, Tone. So it's not really a pace thing. It's where he links up with whoever's on the right. So he'd probably, if he's out in that right, Salah will keep drifting out to him, and then there's 1-2s happening. And Elliot can cross a really good. He can cross the ball well, and he's also left-legged, so he can cut in from that side and shoot, which is great. He just needs to receive the ball high up, not really dropping back where he's been doing and cause himself hassle. Chelsea finished 10th season. There you go. So they finished 10th, and that, I don't know what their excuse was for that, but it clearly has an effect. It clearly shows why, unless you got high investment into a squad, and you're like City do really, you don't get back-to-back titles. It's very rare in English football that you get back-to-back titles. There's normally a rotation between 2 or 3 clubs. We won it, then City won it twice. I know Arsenal are probably going to win it, and then Arsenal might drop off next season with having all the competitions coming in, because I don't think they'll be able to keep up. You'll probably see them dropping off a bit at the end of this season, but still winning it. I think the gap will just close down to about 2 or 3 points. But so I totally feel it's a main problem having straight to the. I don't know. Blackburn, yeah, I know, but I mean that's where he that's where he learned these trades, But yeah, look, let's get into the things. We've done the midfield headache, for Klopp's midfield headache, and I know where we're going to go. For me, for the starting for the midfield, I have to see Bajcetic and Thiago in there, because they're linking up so well together, and for Naby seems your best choice. Ox and that right might seem like a good choice. I say for the 1,000th time, play Trent there. Play Trent there, play Joe Gomez on the right back position if you have to, Matip in right centre, and Konate on the left side of that centre back pairing if you want. Tsimikas even on the left if you want. But try just give, like, how good Trent was when he's passing the ball. It's nuts. Like, anyway, Redboard, how's it going? Some players are past their prime. Todd needs to get rid of it. He does, right? Like we were just saying that there. He needs to get rid of him. I mean, I had a topic in here before that was to do with FSG, but we'll talk about him in a second. But before we get to that, anyway, can we at least talk about how good this fella has been in Bajcetic? So, breath of fresh air is not even the word I could say. His tackle rates, I was looking at here when he's playing the games, right? So he's played how many? 10 games for Liverpool? And in one of those games he's only had a 5.8 ratio, and that was against City, where he only played 45 minutes in December there. And all the other times he's been averaging at a 7.4 ratio. I mean, that's phenomenal. Like, to go from 7 to 7.6, 7.8, 7.7. A 7.4 ratio average is fantastic for such a young player to come in. And he barely kicked a football for Liverpool before that, to be honest with you. So I don't know what way you rate him. Like, would you start him for the rest of the season? or at least for the next few games, until maybe Fabinho can play his way back in and give proper competition to Fabinho, maybe make him up his game a bit. Give him their training sessions. Training sessions are okay, but match fitness training is another thing, and I think Bajcetic is going to get better and better as the season goes on. I think we still need to have Fabinho ready and fit, because if we know Thiago is injury prone, lads, and it could be this week, it could be next week, but then all of a sudden we could lose Thiago 6 or 7 games, and we're going to need and count on Fabinho to be in there. And I think him and Bajcetic could play there well together. You see, but then you're really having to go to the 4-2-3-1 if you're going to accommodate both of those. I want to see us go that way anyway for 4-2-3-1 and cause a bit of hassle, but I think the triangle play with the sitting number 10 and the left and right attacking midfielders, always playing as highline wingers. I think it's set up for Gakpo, for Carvalho to come in and have good games in these positions. Salah to play on the right of that, a bit deeper away from the defence, and then maybe take people on that side. And would you play through the centre then in front? That's the thing, you could play a Salah up there as well, and he could probably get space from running from behind the defence. But I don't know, lads. I'm trying this for the first time, so I'm trying to do these topics and see how it goes. We created all these graphics, and I wanted to see if if we could really create talking points on a weekly basis and to have your say and stuff like that, But you let me know what you think anyway, So have we got here? Any of United, Chelsea, Arsenal, City got nearly in a row in a critical spot like us? No, they don't. But at the same time, he hasn't put a foot wrong. So I have to give him credit there. I think Fab's drop off has been incredible. It has been nuts, hasn't it? I mean, it's been nuts. He's because he's not, he's not a muscular, power-based player. He's more, look like he needs to eat a bit more beef and chicken. You know what I mean? He's a skinny lad and a tall lad for what he does. But sometimes you just see players that just don't have the energy levels after So I don't know, but like brilliant idea, mate. Oh, you're talking about the talking points. Yeah, I think it's just a way for us just to have a chat. I don't put it, like, I do a lot of watch alongs, but I don't put enough of this stuff out. So I'm going to start doing this, and I create time. If I can do it daily, I do it daily. If not, I do it, at least 2 or 3 times a week, and then we get a main talking point after weekend football, and we see how we get along like that. Anyway, so no, I don't think anybody has scouts. I don't think anybody has any confidence in them at the moment. Not together anyway, at least. I think one could be in there with a pairing of Thiago and Bajcetic or Thiago and Keita, but I don't think both of them can be in there at the same time. Hender's last is like, he's knackered. He is knackered. He just needs to be. He needs to be right. Him and just rest the 2 boys. We have Naby till the end of the season before he moves on. We have Ox till the end of the season. Curtis Jones. See, my thing with Curtis Jones is it's a funny situation with Jones. He had all the confidence and the skill in the world when he came in. But Curtis Jones's biggest problem is the inability to release a ball quick enough. He always takes the extra 2 or 3 touches, and then it becomes too easy to read of where he's going after that, because he's a Scrackdale. Yeah, well, I don't think it's very hard for there's very rarely sell Scousers after maybe a couple of seasons being in there. They normally wait, like, if they gave Divock Origi the amount of time that they did, and I know he's scored legendary goals and stuff like that. You scared me talking about Thiago, because you're right on borrowed time. Yeah, it is. It's just, wouldn't mind jumping on with you sometime if you need me, mate. Yeah, John, I'll definitely do that. You see, I'm going to be moving this thing. I think I'm going to move this setup because of the way Streamlabs is set up. I know OBS is better for streaming, but Streamlabs has got the integration of multicam in it, so I can just take somebody else's camera signal and just put it in there straight away without the need for guest star and stuff like that. on Twitch, but I can take the multicam and directly into Streamlabs, which is great now. I didn't know that until I started looking it up recently. So I'll take all of this setup and then move it off to, I can just copy and paste it off to Streamlabs really, and it should set up there grand. Anyway, let me go back there to just answer a couple of questions or a couple of points. This is by saying hello to each other. Yeah, then it's finished. Yeah, we talking about Thiago. Yeah. So the thing with Thiago being on borrowed time is a bit of an issue. Look, because hopefully he can do his more season I think he's ever played is about 28 games or something, isn't it? Which is strange in a season that, you know, in top tier football where you play anywhere to the bones of 50 something, you know. 40 something, 50 something, it all depends on the competitions. If you're like in every competition up until like quarter-final stage or past the quarter-final stage, you're looking at 50 odd games. So, you know, so the fact that we did 63 games last season, he was missing for a good chunk of it is not good, you know. So look, hopefully he'll be all right, and Bajcetic takes most of the pressure off of him, which he's done, because I mean Thiago's looked his sharpest I think all season playing next to Bajcetic, because he just gives him that freedom. Bajcetic just, you know, he gets in there in front. Yeah, his positional awareness is very good for a lad of his youth, you know. But yeah, so I don't know, like Jurgen Klopp has got a big thing on his hands now, man. Big choices on his hands with regards team choice. So even in saying that, let's go on to that. Let's move on to team choice. Liverpool v Brighton lineup, lads. But give me a second. I'm going to answer these before we get into it, so get ready to get your lineups going. I've turned off auto comments on this for a second, so I could catch up with the chat. This is I give the old timers a break and get the young guns playing. Yeah, exactly. Now he's not in to do match when he's ball and needs to be shipped out with Ox, but Liverpool hand him a new deal. Yeah, because they see the potential in him, because we know that if you compare Curtis Jones to other young fellas that are in the league in his position, he's one of the best that's out there. The problem is that he just hasn't developed himself as well, because every time he's been played in that position that Thiago plays in. So you'd have to assume the Klopp wants him to be an anchor, but you can't be an anchor if you don't know how to release a ball fast enough. You can't be an anchor if you don't know how to do 1-2s. And if his idea of 1-2s is only at the edge of a box and not in the midfield, then we've got problems. So I said it for the longest time. He's a great player. He's got a gift on the ball, but he just hasn't developed himself enough to release the ball fast enough. He can slow down the game. And you know, Thiago at times has been guilty of that too, slowing down the game when the right pass is not on and then going backwards. But you know, we used to scream at Henderson and at Henders because he used to go backwards all the time with the ball, you know. But he developed himself. So what's to say that Curtis Jones can't? I would still keep him there, and hopefully, you know, he can develop alongside Thiago and turn into that type of player. But Thiago is just a different level of gifted. You know, it's very hard, but you just want them to get the basics right in the anchor play. So we'll see. And Ox Jones all need to go by 2 experienced midfielders who can actually play that position. I said it, Joe. I said it. No, there's a shout for us, but only just have to join in full. But there's a shout to if you wanted experience, cover, and then 2 good midfielders. I would give, you know, I suppose Neves is a shout, but Paulinho for me in Fulham would suit our style of play if he came in. Whatever about his age, he's a bit older, but he could be the experienced player that comes in and you know, fills that role. He'd be doing much better anyway than Arthur Melo, and he'd have better legs than Milner at the moment. So, and you know, he can play that defensive midfield role and box to box role very, very well. So for me, he's a great shout, and you could get him at a steal from Fulham because of the price. The only difference is that Fulham's more likely staying up this season. Paulinho is good. 24 type of play. I think he's a good player, man, for us, for Fulham. I think that I would bring him in as the older player. You know, him or Neves for Wolves. and then I would go big on the other two players. Because if we're going to need 3 midfielders coming in, and if we're going to be hanging on to Fabinho, and we're going to be hanging on to Thiago, we buy Cetic in there as well. Ox is going to go. I would. Alisson go. Oh yeah, we got to the lineups. Nice. As you pay 100+ K a week, that always why do we can we go for free? Yeah, I don't think Curtis Schultz is on 100K a week anyway. He's I don't know what he's on. He's only on about fucking 37 or something like that, is he? With his new deal. I do not tell is definitely not that. But yeah, imagine if somebody at that ilk was not able to do it. They should be shot. Really, shouldn't they? They really should be shot. And let me pull that down here. So I just actually I'll pull up the social media chat. Oh, Klopp's face is getting an awful doing off there. But I would anyway. I would. Alisson Gomez, Joel Kanatip. Did I just say Kanatip? Alisson Gomez, Joel Kanate, Costas, Stefan, Thiago, Trent, Gated, Don, I like her too, and Salah. Right. Yeah, I think that she might not, you know, I'd love Trent in the midfield, dude. You're speaking to you're preaching to the choir here, dude. Like I've wanted to see Trent move into midfield for the last 2 seasons. He's pretty much been playing that anyway when he's on a pitch, you know. Sad state of affairs. I know it is. I've been torn. I mean, I can't complain about Liverpool. They give me some brilliant seasons the last 5 seasons, and if it means that like we had that blip with the injuries in 21 and still made it like, and that was into February we were still playing bad. Like we were losing 6 home games in a row, and then playing with Phillips and Reece Jones in the back line, and we ended up going up to third. Like we were 16 points behind United in that season. We ended up 4 points behind them in third place. And there's no like I can't turn around and say that Liverpool can't do the same this season. I believe they can. I believe that they, especially if they're starting to use by Cetic now a bit more, and Thiago stays fit, and you know Naby gets a lot more game time, but the two of them can be injury prone as well, and Thiago and Naby. I think if we lose both of them together at the same time, then I'll say, oh yeah, everything's over, just drop the tent and leave it off. We'll go again next season, and because I don't want to see any Conference League or Europa Leagues or any of them fucking things. To be honest with you, I would say yeah, just call it a dead season, and leave it go. But yeah, if we keep these lads fit, I think yeah, we can easily break into that top 4. At the moment, we've games in hand, and we'll be, and even on Newcastle, we've 2 games in hand or something like that. So, like we'd be 7 points behind them with a game in hand done. We'd be 7 points behind, and we'd be 4 points behind Newcastle. And can I see Spurs getting in there? No. Can I see Chelsea getting in there? No. Can I see Brighton getting in there? Maybe, but. Can Brighton keep going the whole season with never having the experience to go for Champions League top 4? I don't think so. And you know, I still think that this season will finish with, like I said, at the start of the season. So I thought like Arsenal would be in there. I said between Arsenal and Spurs, but no, with Arsenal where they are. I said City. I said, and then it was either us and maybe United if they improved under Ten Hag. I said for 3rd or 4th. So. If you have to look at the other teams that are around you to Brighton have the experience to keep their Fulham going to have the experience to stay there. No, they're going to lose against your cities and that, even though they might have beaten us. I still think that we can take over Spurs. I still think we can close the gap. And I mean, United no lost today. They drew their last game. We've already caught up 4 points in them, you know. So yeah, I would. Anyway, what am I looking at here? At the same time, mate, player's career is very short for his own good, so I would say he needs to go. He's not starting for Liverpool. Oh, yeah. Well, I don't care. This is the thing, Jan, about me. I know to the point where I appreciate what Liverpool has done and stuff, but I don't want to care about players. I just want the team to do well. So, for me, I don't care who goes and who stays, as long as we bring in the right players to replace them. So, let them go. I'm just kind of using the mindset that, you know, that Jones is a homegrown player. And they might keep him around, especially if Ox and Naby are going. and Milner are going at the end of the season. That's 3 midfielders out the door there straight away. And especially if Hendo is as tired as he is, Fabinho is as tired as he is. That's 5. That's 5 there, and we only need 3 midfielders to come in. Thiago, we don't know how injury prone he is. It's just there's a big overhaul in the midfield, and I think one defender. I believe we need one good top quality defender in as well. Well, mid-range quality defender maybe, because I like Kanata, I like Van Dijk, but if those two don't stay fit together, can we rely on Matip anymore? To come in there and play game in, game out for every season? He's 32 now, isn't he, or something, 33. So Joe Gomez, he didn't have a bad game against Chelsea. I'll have to give him that, but there was parts where he was issues, But look, we're at that stage now where it's not really a transition, it's just getting out. I like transitions for clubs or people that develop over a couple of seasons. We have a good forward line there. We have Luis Diaz. We have the best forward line in the league. Luis Diaz, Darwin Nunez, Jota, Salah, Gakpo. If you want to count Carvalho into that as well, there's an abundance of choices there for that front line, if they have the midfield to back them up and create it, And yeah, only to 7, that must be Milner. Trent played for England in midfield and was horrible. But he's also getting found out and right back against it. When did he play for England in midfield? In the youth team? I didn't see him play for England in midfield in the seniors at all. I was playing midfield, but plus then if you're talking, if it's the youth team, he was just a kid then. But with the way he plays passing, with his passing game is ridiculous. I'd have him on the right in midfield. I would have him taken off from Hendo, and he would be absolutely backing up the right back, and he'd be doing what he's doing now anyway. But at least he doesn't have to worry too much about right back by getting back with somebody behind him. Ali Gomez, Matip, Kanate, Robertson, Stefan, Thiago, Naby, Gakpo, Nunez thing. I don't know about Ali starting. I think it'll be Kelleher myself. I would play Gomez right back. I would take that back line. Maybe Simicast would change out. Stefan, Thiago, Naby, I would take that. Is he going to play that? I don't know. Gakpo, Nunez, and Elliott. That's a good shout for that. But Elliott starting right, would he drop Salah? Salah likes playing every game, man. I think that's what he says. I think he talks in Klopp's ear and says, just play me. I don't care what competition is, just play me. Because he seems to. And when he's dropped. But, when Brighton play their strongest 11, you have to look at that. And if they do, we have to be on our game, because the lads weren't good enough against them last week. Not at all. Like, it was counter-attack football and balls over the top. That was just our weak points, and that needs to be stopped. That's why I like to go 4-2-3-1, and I like to be able to see it. And yeah, I'd love Declan Rice, lads. I think he's incredible. It's a shout. Yeah, Paulinho has been fantastic for Fulham. His tackle ratio is the best in the league, isn't it? For interceptions and tackles, it was top there every time I see it, and the stats he's still top. And he keeps bringing it up. You have to be worried there the fact that somebody else could come in for him as well, in the summer. And poaching from Fulham, who would need him. Casemiro is getting a bit old for United. Xhaka, Arsenal could come in and take on an agent Paulinho as backup to Xhaka as well, or right there in between that, because, good Partey's in there. But I think we need a player like that, especially if we're losing the amount of midfielders we are. I think we can get Paulinho on the cheap, and I think we can still bring in another 3 midfielders of good quality. I think Declan Rice is set for Chelsea, if I'm honest with you. He's a Chelsea fan, we should put Trent in the Salah in the 8. Yeah, Salah in the 10 and Nunez in the 9. Straight down the middle, 100 miles per hour. Yeah. just bang it on the top, I'll just leave Nunez bully him. Because when the balls are going over the top, like he's winning the ball. Joe, I really liked about Gakpo as well against Chelsea. He was winning a lot of headers. And some of his headers were spot on knockdowns to Thiago or anybody else that was there. The problem was he didn't have a Nunez or a Salah next to him to receive the ball. It was the midfielders that were just a bit forward that were receiving it and getting on. So he's a good man to win a ball in the air and bring it down. He's just his weakest position is his back to goal. He just doesn't like it. I think he just likes running at people and linking up with people 1-2s and stuff like that. That's his strength. And he's got the stride for it. He's got the strength for it, but he's a strong player, Gakpo. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. But he just needs to be given his best position, which is like the left wing or left attacking midfield role. I think he's more suited to the left attacking midfield role. If I'm honest with you, and geez, if it was a 4-2-3-1 situation there, him and Nunez drifting back and forth, I would take that all day. You're true, yeah. Jan LFC special, welcome. When will Qatar owners come? We need 2 midfielders in January as soon as possible, bro. You never walk alone, come on your rates. Yeah, I don't know about Qatar owners. It could be Qatar owners, it could be whoever it is. I think there's too many rumours going around to even worry about that. What I want to do is just get through this season because it's clearly at the 22nd and whether we're going to see players brought in before the window ends, and this window remains to be seen. The funds have to be made available. Pushing the button out. Whatever news has been released about owners coming in February and stuff like that seems a bit shit and stupid to me. If they've been talking about it since November, December, really, and they've announced it like in December, it seems a bit because the investment is needed now, and that for me is just a scapegoat reason for FSG to kind of pawn us off a bit and just keep us shut until then. I believe when I seen Jamie Phillips talking about, I seen him posting on Twitter about the FSG out guys doing a protest and all of that. He was right. I mean, if somebody was going to do a protest, it hasn't been done yet. Should have done it. If they wanted to have to say and get rid of them, no. I mean, if people really want FSG out, they're going to have to do the protest and not just say, oh, we're going to wait for investment. See, people are on the fence because we've won a lot under FSG, and that's great with the model that allowed them. But it's mainly down to how Klopp coaches the players. And for me, like, how do you... I don't know, man. I just... it's... Yeah, look, I've enjoyed what FSG have done for the club. I really have. But if there's no investment there from them, they can't invest anymore. They're getting booed now by the Americans and stuff in there. I just watched them getting booed again the other day at the live conference. And they're not investing money. I don't know why. I don't know what the issue is. Maybe it's the fact that they were able to invest a lot of money and quadruple their returns, but I don't know. Southgate played in midfield, no? No, I don't remember him playing in midfield, no, not at all. Unless he was using him as a defensive cover. Well, Southgate could have gone, 3-5-2 then, so it could have looked like he was on the right side of midfield. Because he can switch to that sometimes. But that's not really, that's still a wing back, isn't it? I'd want to see him on that right hand side of a centre midfield role. To be honest with you, I just think his passing range is phenomenal. He's as good as Gerrard with his passing range. They played against Andorra. Was that in the World Cup or was it a friendly? Probably 3-5-2. Okay. Jan LFC, Allison Robertson, Kanate, Matthew Phillips, yeah. Trent, Bojcetic, Carvalho, Elliott. How would you do Carvalho and Elliott in the midfield? Ekbo, Nunez and Salah. Just shout if you're doing 4-2-3-1. Yeah. No Thiago. I would try and keep Thiago as fit as possible. Well, yeah, if I could rest him. I think Carvalho needs game time, but I think he needs a number 10 role. I think he's very, very gifted, but also limited at the moment. He's Klopp is trying to train him to become a left-hand side or a right-hand side attacker in the midfield. Dude is lethal through the centre. Lethal. Gakpo and Nunez together could be something special, yeah. Unfortunately, we're not signing anyone this window. Yeah, even if we don't, we just got to move on. I've already come to terms with the fact that we might get one player in January, which we did in Gakpo, but this some of our best signings have been made in January in the last number of seasons. Luis Diaz, Gakpo, Van Dijk, So Philip Bidwell, hello, welcome. We still have Eversini's owners until September, in my opinion. Hopefully, I'm wrong though. Yeah. I think we need a freshening up now. And it's not about just getting rid of the owners, it's about getting the investment in. And I want to see that investment coming into the club, but I don't want to see it at the point where it's limited, where somebody puts 600 or 700 million into the club and all of a sudden only 150 million is available. That investment when it comes in is part of financial fair play. It should be allowed to come back to it because we've already got the books covered with the money that's in the club right now. But if it's for new players, then that investment should come in and should go straight onto players and really solidifying the team and building that midfield just to create massive competition. FSG wants somebody to come in and fund all the transfer, but also own a tiny amount of the pie. That's what I'm seeing. I think they want like a good ownership. I think they still want to own like 38, 39% or something like that, which is I don't know, but I mean in Redbird Capital part of them as well, and they've got 11% of that, and they want to slice it. Nah, man, I don't like consortiums unless they've already worked together previously. I don't like new consortiums and people coming in and then people having too much say with lower percentages that don't want to invest but just want to see the most money made out of a club. It doesn't work. I think that's why you get no issues from Leicester owners for them. I know that they've dropped off a bit this season, but City owners for them, the Bowley fella's coming for Chelsea and he's as mad as a fucking bag of spanners, that fella. And yeah, Scott. Can't wait for the 49ers to take full ownership of Leeds and put some. Are they coming in there? Are they coming into order there? Proper money into us, yeah. Leeds should be up there as well. They should be battling as well, Tony. Leeds are an old school club. I love the club myself. That club when I was over there myself for a while. So, I think it's a great club. A good history. Yeah, plus White Rose Centre is good as well. But anyway, we need Carvalho. We do, Jan. Maybe Fabinho for CDM. Well, if he's going to if he's going to try and play Fabinho into form, he'll probably start on tomorrow whichever you start Sunday. But I still think we need Bajcetic in there. I really do think we need him in there. So for me, I would I want to play Bajcetic into being a solid part of the team if he's going to go that way in future. I think Klopp sees it in him. To be honest with you. Yes, we'll see. I don't know. It's doing my head in. World Cup qualifiers against Andorra. Southgate did his experiment, and Trent felt it very uncomfortable. What position did he play him in? Was it CDM? Was it right, left? If he played him on the left hand side of a midfield, then Southgate would want his head screwed on. Or if he played him in a 3-5-2 in an experiment, then he's still playing as right wing back in that one. I think that midfield probably just a bit too young. Oh, for the Jan Zellers, yeah, I think so. Unless you're playing a 4-2-3-1. And then I don't see who's sitting in there next to Bajcetic, if I'm honest. Looks like more like a 4-1-2-1-2 situation. Carvalho and Canate together are cheat codes. Carvalho and Canate together are cheat codes. Together? Oh, you mean just playing in the same team, or just because obviously they're the opposite ends of the pitch? Thiago Alcantara. Right, Andrew was going. Thiago Alcantara article came out today. He explained why we struggled this season. It's from last season. Yeah, but I can see that a mile away. So we will fight till the end. And last season was the best moment of his life. Yeah. It's that's what look, we won 2 cups, we could have won 4, just came down to, you know, Jesus, Aston Villa. Imagine that though. Imagine playing that season where you're after winning a trophy, and then, you know, you've won a trophy, and then you have a chance at winning the league down to the last day, and you're like, oh, you need City to lose. Next minute they're 2-0 down. Do you know, against Aston Villa, and you're still nil. Oh, excuse me, and you're still 0-all. You know, and you know, and then you see City come back into it, and then we score, and then you're like, Jesus, you know, it could happen, and then City go on and score like 3 goals in like fucking 6 minutes or something, and it breaks you. I mean, that drain, and then you're like, right, let's go again. We have to go again. We have to move on to the next game and do it, like, you know. So, as I said, Klopp did build mentality monsters, but the problem is that mentality can only get you so far until you're broken, really. You know, until you're knackered and you just can't do it. No matter what your mind says to do it, no matter what positions they take up, you're just there. And like, imagine being that tired in your mind and the pitch that tired. You know, it's just, I get it, man. Look, I'm delighted with the seasons that the lads have given us the last few seasons, but now we need freshening up, and that's down to the owners and the recruitment team to back Klopp and to back the players. It's you know, it's that simple, really. Redbird don't have a say in Liverpool. It's FSG they invested. Yeah, I know. They're like it's their, but it's the outcome is what I'm talking about there, John. You know, the money that's going to come out, how much money they're going to make, the profit that the companies will make. Redbird will want to see their cut out of that because they'll want to see a percentage increase. If they invest into a club, they would want to be seeing at least 6 times that money back. Yeah, at least you're talking about at least 400% to 400% plus profit. You know, so we only have Fabinho as a CDM, which is in a position we are lacking a camera thing. No, well, Bajcetic is a CDM. You know, so he came in, he's played very, very well. You know, Fabinho is a CDM and Bajcetic is a CDM. And actually, Naby Keita, he's a box to box, but he also likes winning the ball deep and bringing it forward. But would have him in the number 6 role. We've tried that before and it didn't work out. So for Liverpool, it was just a big two. He was good at it for Leipzig. But yeah, for Liverpool, it was just a step too far for him. He's good at covering for defensive midfielders, and he's good at receiving the ball and winning the ball back in positions where he just nicks it. You know, Thiago's been doing that a lot lately as well. You know, I was giving out about Thiago not winning the ball back enough, but he's been making some really good interceptions and tackles lately. 49% owners at the moment, but Reds will see us next season. Nice. Okay. Played centre midfield and shot. I only played him centre. I would have played him on the right of a midfield. I mean, that's Rice and Phillips there on that position. I would play him out on the right of that right centre midfielder or right, even a right tackle midfielder in a way. No, I wouldn't play him dead centre mid. No. What the fuck is okay thinking doing that? Canate and Carvalho both start, guaranteed us wins, clean sheet. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's a good shout. But Carvalho needs to play it. I know we can call them professional athletes all day long, but there's no team in history. Like, there's no team in the history of the Premier League or the EPL that's played as many games as Liverpool did last season. And if Chelsea ended up in 10th the season after they played it and they had more investment in, then what was their excuse? You know, if United finished, geez, where did they finish? I think they ended up finishing. It was not the season they started finishing 8th after Ferguson left. Moyes came in. It was awful from. They finished way down. They were like 8th or 9th or something like that. I know it was. I think they climbed back up to 7th or something. But that's it. But they still had investment. We didn't have any investment, and were mentally and physically fatigued. 4-3-3 played him right midfield next to Hendo and Bellingham. England played 4-3-3. We see that, yeah. England v Andorra Cup. Where is that? When the hell was that? Was that 2021? 2022? It was 2022 World Cup, so the qualifiers would be in 2021, wouldn't it? Let me just have a look at that though. Let me just see. Let me just see. I want to see what the fuck Southgate will be playing at. Jesse Lingard, Jude Bellingham. Johnston started for England. James. Oh, he was right back in that still. Match day 5, 5th of September 2021. As it happened. Did they move him in there? That was the 5-0, yeah? 4-0. Yeah, it's Johnson. Reece James played in the midfield in that one. Trent behind him. Trippier on the left. Connor Cody and Tyrone Mings. Saka. Where the fuck did he play? He played Saka on the left. What does Gareth Southgate be playing at all? Lingard through the centre. Bellingham, Henderson, and Bamford. The hell? But then Kane and all them came on and scored. Maybe he moved him up there throughout the game. What the fuck was it? Gareth Southgate. They put Saka on the left. Yeah. Does Klopp now keep a leak in the defence because he can pass exceptionally? Well, I think he's improved defensive-wise, but I just don't think his mind is in the defence anymore. I think because he sees the rest of the team there, he's pushing himself on forward and he's just saying, can I push for a place in midfield and that right-hand side? I think he's an ideal replacement for Henderson on that right-hand side. You know, he'll have to work hard in covering the right back, but at least he doesn't have to be the right back running back. And I think that'll benefit him. Whether he makes it his own, I don't know. But I mean, he's been the best right back in Europe for the last how many years, and we're still complaining that he doesn't defend enough. That he gets caught over the top, but that's very rare. I mean, that you're talking, he gets caught like that once every 12 games or something like that. If he does 2 in a row, people lose their fucking mind. I think they should be laying off. I think a lot of people should be laying off tactically judging players when they've pretty much won everything recently and just let them get on with the game and just judge tactics rather than individual players unless they've had an absolute nightmare, you know? This is unless regards of fatigue from previous year. You know, there's a much fitter on technology. It is, you're right, Ton. But there's still no team has ever done that. No team has ever prepared for 63 games in a season. They haven't. And it's not even down to physical fatigue, it's mental fatigue as well. And mental fatigue can cause a massive thing. Like, imagine finishing season after season behind City by a point, still getting 97, 98, 99 points every single season. I mean, that takes its toll on any team. You just nearly want to say, fuck, why do we have to keep doing this? And that's anybody will have fatigue from that, or their mind will just drift. 4-0, yeah, it was the 4-0 one. Yeah, so yeah, the 4-0 one. So Trent started on the right back, and that Reece James ahead of him. It says here. What's this one? Then that Scotia. Everybody was amped up after Wallop and City in the Charity Shield. Yeah. Do you know why we Wallop City in the Charity Shield? Is because this is what the funny thing is though, is because City only had a week's preparation. And I said that when we beat them, I said, lads, don't get complacent with this. City have just come back from their break, from the thing. They all started like really, really late. Like we played more games and longer than them in a season, but they started later in the season to us. And we were back in the 7th of July as per normal. They weren't back until, Jesus. I don't even think they got... Didn't they have one pre-season game before the one that they played in the Charity Shield? That's all they had, like a few days beforehand. So that's what and it was Haaland's first start as well. And look, we played well in that because we had 3 weeks. We were still on the same level that we were at the end of June. Tiring a bit, but still able to play a bit of football. It's the next couple of weeks after that we just started going shutting down, like completely shutting down. I'd put that down to City only having 1 game preparation, whereas we'd already played 4 or 5 pre-season games at that stage, keeping the same fitness level at the end of that season previous. There was no stop for us. Like, we were going to hit a brick wall, whereas they were only going to get better. Yeah, that was tonight. It was central midfield that day, back for. I know it says here that it's not according to the FA one. It says it was Trent right back and Reece James was the further forward one. No, they're probably just overlapping each other anyway because they're both right wing backs. Yeah, it says as it happened, so you can go stage to stage, minute to minute. Anyway. What's that done? That's it, yeah. It's only ever happened twice where the team has played every possible game of the season, both times Liverpool last year in 2001. The FA Cup. Yeah. And it's not the amount of games. I think it was like 62 games that season. So the 63. Or was it 61? If I remember. But yeah, you're right. We are the only team that's done it. I think the record was broken again because it was a Champions League final this time as well instead of the Europa League, or what's it called back then, the cup. Played right midfield, not right wing. What? I think they were both playing that one. To be honest with you, I think him and because it says the starting lineup says that it was Trent on the right wing back and right back and Reece James in front of him. I mean, I'm only going by what it says in the thing here. If Southgate kept switching them into the thing, that's probably what I would have done as well. If Reece James was going back and Trent was going forward. But you can't play 2 right wing backs on the same. So you play a right back and a right wing back, but you don't play 2 right wing backs. Because they end up falling all over each other getting forward. That's a stupid idea from Southgate. What was he thinking? Yeah, we broke it again last season, yeah. I tell you, man. Just tired. Look, move on. Just get, try to get some sort of form back into play with Chetic and the lads, play this absolute fucking lunatic in yeah, you have to, like, it's. Let me just pull these back there, lads, a second. Alright, so what do you think anyway, lads, when we went to that one? So it's Arsenal for the title. What do you think? It has to be, right? Like, unless they capitulate I thought they were going to capitulate, and I thought they'd start dipping by December, January. But they seem to be still going. That midfield looks really well, doesn't it? They 1 or 2 extra games is not an excuse for the fatigue team. You have to blame FSG rather. I don't know, 1 to 2 years. I mean, most teams in the season don't go through all the cups, They're either out in the 3rd to the 6th rounds. And the mind saying that, but getting to a final as well, and playing all the extra times and penalties in both games. It's just, it happens. I mean, because I'm going by the previous seasons on top of that as well. And even that season before that, we only had a 4-week break rather than compared to this week, this season, which was like a 3 and a bit week break. It's just team's fatigued. It's just the way it is. Klopp says it himself. He said that the team is They're there and they want to fight, but they just can't do it. I mean, that's just a sign of just like hitting a brick wall. It's in their hands for me. They haven't won yet. I think Arsenal can do it. They've got the speed to get out of any trouble. Yeah, they're good, man. They're good. You know, Odegaard, I said it as well a few years ago when we lost out to Odegaard to Real Madrid. I said that guy's going to be a player. I said if you can get him in the midfield, and then there was a chance to buy him as well. And people were saying he was after dropping off and whatnot. But you need a skillful, speedy player like that in a team, like, you know. Like Mudryk looked good for Chelsea when he came on the other day. So much so like that Milner was doing well up until that point, and then all of a sudden you can see that Mudryk was going to burn him. So Milner just kind of pulled him back, and then had a look at Klopp and says, "Yeah, it's time to replace me there now." So you know. Oh, lads. I don't know where poor Jack is gone. Jack was supposed to be on. Yeah. Where the fuck is Jack? Oh yeah. Oh geez. Oh nice. Okay, so Jack is after getting his Xbox account so he can go into chat and stuff like that when we're playing games in a minute. So lads, in a minute I'll be switching over to Twitch. Are you any of you on Twitch? If you don't know Twitch, just it takes you 2 seconds to stick in your email and your password, create an account, and then just like you don't have to have a page, right? Well, you'll always have a page when you create an account, but you just have to have an account just to be able to chat and do stuff, like, you know. But it's pretty cool because the lads over there, you get channel, for the more you watch, you get channel points, so you get to make me do stupid shit when I'm online, as Tony does there every so often, and some of the lads does, Ozzy and all the lads do. You know, you earn 10,000 channel points and you get to make me sing for 15 minutes in the middle of a game. So I can be talking to people inside the game, but I'd be singing at them and they're wondering why the fuck I'm doing it. And then, you know, that's just the way it is. But it's pretty good in it. But yeah, look, Arsenal, the game was good today. I saw passion from both sides today in Arsenal and United. It was a very good game. You know, the Ten Hag has got United playing a better way than what I expected him to so soon. But they still have the mindset to drop off when when it happens. I mean, they've drawn now and lost the last couple of games, so they can go and win 2, and then they could probably lose 2 in a row or draw like 2 or 3 in a row. So I'm hoping that kind of form helps us onwards. Like I'm just hoping that like Newcastle starting to drop off now. Without Ramirez, I think they're going to be in trouble. I think they're going to be in trouble to drop out of top 4. I think they might get Europe, all right, definitely. I think Newcastle do. And I'm still thinking that it's the halfway point in the season, lads. We still have the whole second half of the season to play now. So, like, don't be worrying about the form that we've had. We've had stints in the season. If we can keep up the form that we had from October, November, and get back to that stage, then I think we're okay to start pushing in and pushing in for top 4. I really do. But but the players need to come back. He's not going to get help. If he's not going to get help in the midfield, we need Diaz and Jota back. We need Thiago fit, and we need to be able to rotate Vojcetic and Fabinho and Naby, and I'm going to need players like Oxlade-Chamberlain going forward. We're even going to need players like Curtis Jones going forward for the rest of the season. These lads have to step up, just like Reece and Phillips. Reece James and head off a minute ago. Like Reece and Phillips stepped up for us in the season after we won the league. I think you have to like that's where you're taking your point. That's where you're taking your point from with that season. No Van Dijk, no Thiago. Salah was even injured in that season. We had Mane injured in that season. Alisson was out for a few games that season. We got the Champions League because of Alisson scoring a goal, against West Brom. You had Phillips and Reece in there playing. We were missing Fabinho. We lost Fabinho and Henderson halfway through the season, along with Matip in between those two. That was just a ridiculously injury hit season, but we still finished third. But yet nobody else kind of had a drop. I mean, like City obviously walked the league that season because of it, But everybody else was still on a mediocre path. And I've seen, like, if I'm going to go with improvements, City have dropped off, Arsenal have improved, Newcastle have kept the same steady improvement that they did from last season, Brighton have improved under the Zorbi, the same type of level that they were getting under Potter. I think United have pretty much stayed the same, but they've been counter-attacking better. And I think we've massively dropped off, and Chelsea have massively dropped off, and Spurs have been a massive disappointment because I thought even when we dropped off, I thought Spurs were going to do well this season with the team lineup that they had. But the thing is, we have to stop the drop off now and even get up to average. And if we get to average, we get top four. If we can get it just above our average, we get the top four. Because I just think that, like, with Newcastle's injury where he's now starting to kick in, I can't see Brighton getting the top four place. I can't see Spurs driving up to get a top four space. I can't see Chelsea unless they have, a good run of games getting the top four place. But they're in the same boat as us, so it could be just a battle between us and Chelsea to get into that top four. And Spurs just kind of popping in and out of there maybe, and Newcastle starting to drop down. United will just move up into third, in that way. So I think the opportunity is there because I don't think the other teams have experienced enough to battle for these top four positions, and that's where I'm thinking that will come good. Especially we've a nice run of games now coming up, and we're going to be playing Newcastle at their weakest. We're going to be playing Everton at their weakest, and we need to take advantage of these. We've Brighton's the next game as the FA Cup is for the weekend, and we have we've Wolves straight after that. Wolves, Newcastle, Wolves, Everton, and then Newcastle, and you're looking at Real Madrid, and you'd really want us to be playing ourselves into form going into that game, to give us any shot of going for a major trophy this season, one of the biggest. So we see, because we could be playing shit in this league. I mean, look at the 2005 when we won it. That we weren't creating the league at all that season. Ended up going off winning the Champions League, So there's twists and turns to happen in the rest of this season anyway, lads. But I'm going to finish up here, and I'll finish up here, and I'm going to head over onto Twitch. If you're on Twitch, let me just get through the last of the comments anyway. Tyson Fury spoke about overtraining and boxing and hitting a brick wall. Yeah, it happens. Everybody. I tell you now, lads, mental fatigue plays so much more on your physical fatigue than you could imagine. And if you're taking hit after hit, season after season, and I know we're on the right because we were able to ride it for the first couple of seasons where, okay, we lost out the Champions League to Real Madrid, but we played massive improvements on the top. And then we go on and we win the league for the Champions League the following season, and we're just like, yeah, no. And this is where we're hitting our peak, and then we're going and we're winning the league, and then we don't get the Champions League that season. Then we get to the final again the following season, and and we lose out to Real Madrid. Oh, we got knocked out by Real Madrid again, or Atletico Madrid at that stage, and then we go on again to the final. It's just these things happen to you, but then it's just the losing to a point. Like every time there was a point to City, like every single point, every time there was a point to City. That's mentally draining. That's Yeah, Tony. If you go back to 1980s and 1990s, you probably would, before this influx of money came in. When it did, like, let's call a spade a spade. I know you're really kind of getting at Liverpool tonight, but without Liverpool, City were walking the league every season in the last 6 years. Liverpool is the only team to challenge them without any money in the last 6 years. And the fact that, like, we didn't have the money to spend. Like, you look at Chelsea, under Klopp, Chelsea spent more already in this one window in January than Klopp has spent since he's been here as a manager. So that'll tell you straight away, like, why are these guys winning? United have spent £1 billion and won nothing. They've won literally nothing. And we haven't spent, but yet this team kept us afloat for a long time. But now it's time to change them. So they need the investment, but it's just it's looking like FSG are just not backing Klopp. So they need to go, or the investment needs to come in, one or the other. So yeah, Liverpool and the name, but you can't rely on name alone, especially if the team is fatigued. So you have to rely on the fact that Klopp, I still think, can pull us out of the bag and get top four, and just there's a chance of a domestic cup. I think maybe battling through to the Champions League. I think our name alone might carry us a bit more in the Champions League than it will anywhere else. If we get past Real Madrid, that'll be a big scalp for us this season, and it could drive us on for the remainder of the season, beating them. So there's a number of things that can come in and change how Liverpool play for the rest of the season. Said it's worse than doing that to Tally Horse Spider, this team needs, yeah, he does. The extra games will be Champions League. Yeah, if you're not putting out a young squad, who would be? Yeah, an FA Cup. All right, lads, I'm gonna leave it there. I'll talk to you. Working a few. I do. Nah, I'm having a few beers down now because she's taking the kids to school in the morning. So, and she's not going into work until the afternoon because we the weekend away. So, she was at the saying that she'd be in late on Monday. So, yeah, I'll leave it at there, and I will talk to you. Here, I'll see if I'll do. We'll have a look at the Spurs game tomorrow and see if we do another one. And if not, I'll do another one on maybe Tuesday, something like this. We'll see how we go. So many topics. We might do a full Premier League roundup topic thing. We'll have a look at each team and stuff like that. We might do previews to this season's or this weekend's games coming up as well. I'll put them in the topics section there. So if you have any topics, lads, seriously, contact me on Spider FC on Twitch or _FC on Twitch, and just let me know the topics that you want for this weekend. I'll put them in there. All right, and we'll have a look at it. We'll have a proper chat about it. Right, I'm going to leave it at that. So I will. Where am I? Oh yeah, I'll talk to you there, lads. Nice one. Appreciate it.